Good evening, my non-existent viewers. This is a video that I've been putting off for quite a bit, and my apologies. But it is my now belated 30 years of Pokemon anniversary special. You guys who follow me on Instagram may have seen me post pictures of all my fan-made Eeveelutions. I got my my desert-themed regional variants for the original 3 evolutions from the Kanto region, as well as, the other types. But, for those of you who don't follow, I posted all the pictures on Instagram. I drew these pictures at the library, on a week and a half ago when I finally had the chance to do so. I was gonna film this video, that day, but I had other things to do later that day, and by the time I finally got around to, having the time to, film the video, I was just way too exhausted and just went to bed. And, work has been keeping me busy and stuff lately. Just both my jobs right now have just been, busy, but busy is good. Busy is very good. Yes. But anyways, tonight is a night because it's, it's been officially 2 weeks since Pokemon's anniversary, so yeah. I wanted to, for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I want to make this video for especially, if you haven't had a chance to see, what I drew yet. Starting with, desert-themed regional variants of Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. And I know I'm not the first to suggest this, but I really like the idea of, what if there's, a desert-themed Pokemon region, or specifically a Sahara Desert, an Egypt-themed Pokemon region, or some other African country. Maybe we could have an African country based on 3 different other African countries, one from Sub-Sahara, one from the Congo, and one from North Africa. But yeah, I digress. But I have this idea: if you use a water stone on your Eevee in the desert portion of this world, especially if there's a sandstorm or something, since ground and steel and rock are the 3 types that don't take any damage from sandstorms, now we have the Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon into those types. We can also give the I was thinking about having it, I was thinking about the inspirations for all these too. So I made Vaporeon to a ground type because since Vaporeon's the Cantelian Vaporeon is a water type, I was thinking, okay, so it's got a lot of fish-like features. Why don't it evolve to what's essentially the Pokemon world's version of an African lungfish? African lungfishes, for those of you, or lungfish I should say, for those of you who don't know, are one of the few the fish species that can actually not only breathe air but can also wrap itself up in a cocoon essentially during the dry season. There's African tribes who will build their huts out of mud bricks, right? And all suddenly, when the dry season's over, when it starts raining again, fish will literally start crawling out of their walls. That's from the mud bricks, which is that's crazy. And Jolteon being made into a steel type because, well, I'm sorry, Bolteon just sounds way too good for its own good. And Flareon into a rock type because magma and lava is just molten rock, right? Honestly, it's not going to be a dual fire type, but I really like the idea of all the Eeveelutions having their own signature move of some kind, right? Vaporeon's ground variant will get some kind of muddy water already exists a move, right? So why not oh shoot, let me think, just watery mud perhaps? Or something like that, and Bolteon will obviously get a steel type attack of some type. Yeah, it's its signature move, maybe a defensive move, or maybe something along those lines. But yeah, and Flareon would get still a rock type attack, but will also inflict burn damage at the same time. Kind of how Scald, that water type move, also inflicts burn damage. Yeah. Moving on. Bug type, I got Scorpion because just once again, Scorpion sounds way too it writes itself. I'm honestly not too sure how Eevee could evolve into a bug type, right? I think that's the main reason why they stopped giving Eevee new evolutions in later Pokemon generations. I think it's because they just ran out of ideas on how to evolve Eevee into Pokemon evolutions, and honestly, I'm kind of scratching my head for ideas too. Obviously, I think the Kanto the Kanto ones turned into desert themed variants I feel that kind of writes itself, but I can't really. How would I guess maybe you could evolve it into Scorpion as like as part of a story mission, or like level it up with a certain other like bug Pokemon in its party, because I know some Pokemon evolve like that. However, with my Dragon Eeveelution over here, we got Megalanion. Now stay with me on this. I want this to be the first fossil evolution, it being a dragon type. My original idea for Megalanion was to name it Comodion after Komodo dragon, right? It would be like a dragon type evolution, since it's gonna be a single type, not a dual flying type or something overused like that. We could have it into like, based on a Komodo dragon, have it just be like a single type, right? But then I was thinking to myself, you know what? If there's like, I was at the library and I love reading dinosaur books when I go to that place, when I was reading these pictures, and I was like, you know what, maybe I could make it into, based on a Megalania instead, which for those of you who don't know is one of the extinct ancient relatives of the Komodo dragon. It was from Australia. It was basically a Komodo dragon on steroids. Like, it made modern day, like all the other modern day monitor lizards look like tiny little geckos, essentially. Yeah, it was, and it most likely had a venomous bite, like the Komodo dragon did. I like the, and like when you, and my idea of making it into like a fossil evolution was like, oh, once you find the fossil for Megalanion, you go to like the fossil research center, because all Pokemon regions have those, right? And evolve, and like they'll resurrect it straight into a Megalanion, so you don't need to evolve into an Eevee. Now, if you want to have more Megalanions, if you want to breed more Megalanions, like it'll be like, you have to have like a male Megalanion and have it like, have an egg with like a female evolution of some kind, and like the baby Eevee that hatches from that will like have its signature move, like Dragon Fang or something. I know I'll think of a better name for it later, as a signature move. And basically as soon as that Eevee hits level 2, unless you give it an Everstone, it'll evolve straight into Megalanion, because like that's how you level it up. I know some Pokemon evolve like by leveling up with a certain move. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, Piloswine evolves into Mamoswine after it learns Ancient Power, if my memory is correct, last time I played the Sinnoh games. But yeah, it would evolve similar like that, and also come from a fossil at the same time, so kind of like merging two forms of evolution. Jumping ahead to my poison type, Philobion. For those who don't know, Philobates terribilis is the scientific name for the golden poison frog, which is the most toxic amphibian species in the whole world, right? If I've read that correctly. And since we already got like a fish themed evolution with like a Vaporeon, I was thinking maybe it would be fitting if we had like an amphibian themed like evolution as well. I was thinking maybe like, since amphibians lay their eggs in water, I was thinking like, oh, maybe just evolve your Eevee into Philobion by like having it hold like a certain item and level it up while it's raining or something like that. Or something to do with rain to evolve it into Philobion, because I just, I like having yellow with like, purple spots to represent how toxic it is. And all three of these last types just went through, so Philobion for poison, and Scorpion for bug, and Megalanion for dragon, would all have like a signature move of their respective types, but all three of them will inflict poison damage, because like I said, it's likely that Megalania was venomous, like its modern day relative to Komodo dragon, and obviously because Philobion, with the golden poison frog being like really toxic, the attacks themselves, as well as like my Rock Flareon's like a signature move, would deliver like burn damage. So all the attacks, right, are gonna have weak damages, relatively speaking, but still be like guaranteed to inflict that like status effect with poison or burn, respectively. Moving on to my flying evolution, I was thinking Chiropterion, which for those of you who don't know, Chiroptera is the name of the order of bats. With animal taxonomy, there's the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Bats are in the class of mammals, and their order's name is a Chiroptera. There's two suborders, one called Yin Chiroptera and Yang Chiroptera, and then there's like a lot of different bat families. Like, bats are the second largest order of mammals after rodents. And since Eevee, before it evolves, is very mammal-like in appearance, I really like the idea of having its two front legs just evolve into bat wings. Which, by the way, Chiroptera means means hand wing. Because bats fly with their hands, while bird wings are essentially their arms, while pterosaur wings were super long extension of their pinky. So I guess I could have made like, you know, Chiroptera, like a mix of all three of those. I will say this one thing, that going back to Megalanion for a second, like, I should not have made him so chubby. My apologies for that. I was drawing him and I was just like, oh geez, I was like way too fixated on making him based on Megalania that I forgot to make him look like Eevee at the same time. But yeah, I was thinking, like, how would I guess you could evolve Eevee into like you know, the Chiroptera, but maybe like there'll be like a certain mini game. I'm literally just thinking out loud on this. I'm coming up with this on the fly. You have like, because if I haven't played Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, but I think or Pikachu, but I think the partner Pokemon, the Pikachu or the Eevee, is supposed to like follow you around your shoulder, something like that. Maybe if you do like a skydiving competition with your Eevee. With Eevee on your back, and you both have to use a parachute or something like that, and then just like that, when it hits, you know, just from being, you know, just hitting the parachute, like it just like evolves its like front legs into wings, or something crazy like that. I'm just coming up with that right on the fly, but I like to think that sounds cool. Now for my ghost type, Hexion, I'll admit this is a working title because I was kind of split between that or Spookion. And my friend Jared also suggests that to me too, funny enough. But I mean, the reason why I want Hexion to be like a working title for my ghost type is that I really like the idea of having like a ghost Eevee based on like a mythical creature of some kind, or like some supernatural entity, because there's already plenty of Pokemon based on mythical creatures, like and you know, especially different types of yokai from like Japanese mythology. You know, yokai being magic creatures. It's like, you know, like a feudal Japan's like version of like what the fairies are, like you know, European like legends and myths. Like if there's ever like an Irish themed Pokemon region, like a Pokemon region based in Ireland, I like the idea of calling it Bansheon, it being based on a banshee and giving it some sort of like, you know, spooky voice based attack on your enemies, because banshees in Celtic folklore, like, you almost never see a banshee, but you always hear them. Like, they're a symbol, like, you know, when they scream, it's a warning that it's a warning of death, that someone's gonna die soon, or they scream when someone dies, or you have something really like scary like that. This is gonna sound pretty morbid, but I think, you know, what if there's like a story mission they have to complete to evolve your Eevee into Hexion that involves like sacrificing it at an altar or something like that. So like the Eevee has to die in order to evolve into a ghost. So essentially a Hexion would just be like an undead Eevee or something. Yeah, I know, it's like, that's, oh man. I guess I was in a dark place when I came up with this. And last, but definitely not least, for my fighting type Eeveelution, you can't see me on. That's right. I drew him. I drew You Can't See Me on because he's based on John Cena! Yes, you can't see him. He's based on John Cena. How will he evolve to John Cena? I have no idea, but he'll be based on John Cena! And then he'll be facing off against Machamp and Snorlax and Lucario and all the other Pokemon in the PWE, the Pokemon Wrestling Super Entertainment Super Slam! That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and stay beastly.